Legally speaking, the consequences of failing to update your address can result in a misdemeanor conviction, which is something that I didn't know until Trump's first term. All non-citizens in the United States are required to update their address with the Department of Homeland Security within 10 days of changing their address. And that includes permanent residents, which is something a lot of green card holders or permanent residents don't know. Whenever you change your address, you're supposed to go on the USCIS website within 10 days to update your physical address and mailing address with the Department of Homeland Security. And recently, people have been asking me, what are the consequences of not doing this? Because as people correctly assumed, this is probably gonna become a big issue for people moving forward. So the last time this was ever an issue was during Trump 1.0, his last administration, where towards the second half of the administration, around like 2018, if I recall correctly, the Trump administration made it so that USCIS officers can deny naturalization applications, citizenship applications for permanent residents who fail to update their address in a timely fashion. So the argument went kind of something like this. There's a requirement for most naturalization applicants to have 5 years of good character before you submit your naturalization application. And your failure to comply with the rules is a bad character event. So for example, if you wanted to apply for naturalization today, but last year you moved and you failed to update your address on the USCIS website, that was a bad character event. And therefore today you do not have the 5 years of good character necessary to apply for naturalization. And while this didn't happen very frequently, there were instances where USCIS denied naturalization applications under Trump's first term merely for failure to update your address with USCIS. Legally speaking, the consequences of failing to update your address can result in a misdemeanor conviction, which is something that I didn't know until Trump's first term. You can actually be fined $200 and imprisoned by up to 30 days merely for failing to update your address on the USCIS website. So if you failed to update your address on the USCIS website, what should you do now? Well, this is what I tell everyone. You should go on the USCIS website now and update it as soon as you can. And anytime you move, you should continue to update it until you become a US citizen. Practically speaking, I haven't seen this enforced. I haven't seen anyone get convicted of a misdemeanor or pay the $200 fine or spend any time in jail. But there were instances the last time Trump administration was in power where people were denied naturalization. And I think that's the lowest hanging fruit. I think the Trump administration can easily begin doing that again. And I do expect that to go into effect within the next year or so. I haven't seen any naturalization applications recently get denied merely for failing to update their address. In fact, up until now in September 2025, it hasn't really even come up at the naturalization interviews. So if this is a concern that you have and it's the only reason why you haven't applied to naturalize, I would strongly consider applying to naturalize because the policies haven't changed yet. Although there is a chance that you could apply to naturalize and then the next month this policy could change. And when it changes, it's almost definitely going to also apply to pending applications. So it could impact you moving forward. But I don't see the consequences as being that dire. Your naturalization application might get denied, but if this is the only issue, I don't think you risk losing your permanent residence. You would just get a denial that says you need to wait a few more years until you have the requisite good character before you could apply for naturalization again. Okay guys, so just to summarize, this only applies to non-citizens. Once you naturalize, there's no longer any requirement that you register your address anytime you move. The second point is that this is actually a crime to not update your address. It's technically a misdemeanor, not really enforced, but that could change in the future. And third, the main context in which this could impact most immigrants, in my opinion, at least as of all the information I have now in September 2025, is it could impact your eligibility for naturalization if you don't timely update your address with USCIS when you move. And this isn't impacting naturalization applications right now in September 2025, but it might, and I do think it actually will in the near future, definitely before the next 3 or 4 years are up. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. For those of you who are new to my channel, I've put out 5 videos, including this video this week, just regarding changes to immigration policies, whether it's immigration court, USCIS, changes to the restructuring of immigration agencies. Anytime something comes out, I'll be sure to create a video to keep you guys up to date on it. And one of the other things that I provide in this channel is just information on how to do immigration applications by yourself. But if you want an attorney to handle your case for you, whether you just want to consult with someone to ask some questions, or you want to create a strategy and then do it yourself, or you want a lawyer to handle the whole thing from start to finish for you so you don't have to think about it. For all of these situations, you can consult directly with me. You can find my booking information for a consultation in the video description below. I would love to speak to you about your case if you want, and if I'm able to offer assistance, represent you from start to finish. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.